You're right, boys and girls, subscribers, viewers. Take 3. The first video, I was a bit hasty. I wanted to give up my support of Tottenham Hotspur. I can't go through this no more. Not the relegation. I can go through that. I can understand. That's reality. I can understand all that shit. I can't understand we've let our Tottenham Hotspur be run by a bunch of capitalist mugs who don't care about us fans. And I mean all the fans. The armchair fans, the season ticket fans, the day ticket fans. Everyone's been taken for a ride. They priced out the local community. The very first thing they done was price out the local community. And they screwed over the old pensioners. You know, them people who've been going Tottenham since the 60s, 70s, and they're in their 60s and 70s. Them people should be looked after. In fact, some of them, as far as I'm concerned, shouldn't even pay to go in that stadium, because without them, you wouldn't have that stadium. Without the fans, you wouldn't have the football club. You wouldn't have the stadium. You wouldn't have the training facility. The second video I done, my daughter interrupted me, asking me if I wanted a bacon sandwich. I just had a bowl of porridge. It makes me think when people interrupt the video, that happens for a reason. I was really emotional. What's happened at Tottenham, not the relegation, I'm talking about the whole capitalism thing. The pricing out the locals, the demographics of changing, and everything like that. His eyes nearly on the verge of fucking tears. Plus thinking about the relegation, that don't really upset me. That just makes me fume, because we've let it get to that way. And do you know what? I've been fuming at the protesters. It ain't going to work. It ain't going to work, because it don't work with these people. Protesting don't work. The only thing that works is ending the revenue streams, boycotting, hitting them the old-fashioned way, because they're not listening in any other way. Protested for years. They ain't took a blind bit of notice. All they've done is step out the shadows. They've still got their names in the holding companies, Mr. Levy, Mr. Lewis. You don't see him on any documents. Joe Lewis, you certainly don't see on any documents. It hides him. He hides, don't he? He hides behind the holding companies and the long list of other names. As such, he's got no connection with the club. Even his daughters that you see, you can shout at them. They've got no connection with the club. But they've got connection with the holding companies and ENIC, you know. But their names are not on any company register. They're not accountable, are they? And this is what you're dealing with. Absolutely capitalism at the highest order. Where if you look at the amount of companies that are registered to Lily White Lane, you know, Berkshire said it, didn't he? There was once a football club over there. You know, that phrase rings round my head every fucking day for the past how many years now. In fact, I cut my nose off to spite my face probably 92, 93, 94. I watched the Spurs on and off. I supported my Tottenham, but I wasn't full pelt into it. I just couldn't keep away. It's my football club. I've supported them since I was a kid. I don't know how else these protesters can do anything against corporations. That's what I'm saying. It's only a boycott that is going to work. perhaps they ain't going to listen to people like me. I'm just a geezer with an iPhone, a Spurs fan with an iPhone, who moans. But I am a Spurs fan, bruv. I'm a Spurs fan that what's the words? We're no better than each other. We're all Spurs fans. We all support the same football club. Because a YouTuber has a football channel, don't make him a better supporter than you sitting there now watching this, or the little kid down the road, or your nan who supported them, or your granddad who supported them, or your uncle and aunt. We're all the same. I don't know when people talk on YouTube how we're going to get out of this and keep doing videos and videos of it. The answer is to boycott the games. Probably next season would be the time to start. That's logical, because at this minute no one wants to see our football team get relegated. We've already become a laughing stock in the press, the social media. We're already a laughing stock within our own football community. But you know what? It has got bad, boys. Not just the relegation, the whole lot of it. It's gone out of control. Spurs fans, I know we've not got to say nothing. We're not Germany. We're not 50-1. We're not fan owned. But how did we let it get like this? No, we let it get like this because we fed into the revenue streams. The more cash, the more coin that we gave to that club, the more passion and loyalty that we gave to that club, the more they become powerful. And they've not repaid you, not repaid none of us. We've not seen the old boys back in the stadium no more. They're heartbroken. They can't afford to go. We've not seen the local young community come back in the stadium to watch the games. Maybe 1 out of 20, 1 out of 30. It's terrible what's happened. In exchange, they've got a different demographic now. They've got an affluent demographic, and I'm not knocking them either. Because I know football has to evolve, and fans that like to go and support. But it has got to a point now where it's no longer the football club we supported as kids, my age group. You youngsters don't know any better, so it's not your fault. You've grown up with it, but it does make you angry. That's what I mean. It made me so angry in take one of this video that I just wanted to not support them no more. I just wanted to give it up. And number two, I got emotional because I said, you know what it was? It was I cracked up and said, it's like watching a family member slowly die of cancer. It is though, isn't it? You know, and instead of the cancer, we've replaced it with capitalism. And I understand. Football's got to make money, but this is absolutely taking the piss now. This is absolutely taking the piss. Getting a new stadium, breaking down White Hart Lane. That was the inner sanctum, the temple. I know we had to change to keep going. But you know what? Don't it all seem like this was at the price of loyalty and passion? At the price of people not affording to go? It seems like you're weighing up the odds and you're thinking, right, we get a new stadium, we get even more fans, but then they put the prices up so much that the original fans, the ones that kept Tottenham going through the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, can no longer afford to go. Up until the 90s, even past the 90s, it was still cheap. £6 in 1991, you know. You can't afford to go no more. Proper fans can't afford to go. So at a cost, that stadium's come as a cost, isn't it? A really high cost. Where a football club originally was for the fans. It was the fans that made it. Now it's the TV rights, the global branding. Mate, this is why I say the protest ain't going to do nothing. Sitting in there, protesting now is like what I said, shutting the stable door. The horse has already bolted, and this is what we're left with. We're left with an absolute shit show. And this year we're in a relegation scrap, and they've not bought us. They've not bought us a relegation scrap team, have they? And yet we all sit on YouTube having a pop at that player. I want in this sold, I want that one sold. In reality, it ain't their fault. They was bought in by Enoch. They was bought in by whatever stupid director decided to bring them in. They could have went elsewhere. What we needed was relegation scrap players. And they knew that. They knew that in January. They knew that before January. You don't have to be a brain scientist to work that out, do you? You know what I mean? Absolute joke. Anyway, I've got to go. I've got to stop thinking about Tottenham. I've got to stop being hardcore, bruv. Can't do it no more. Still do my YouTube, but I can't do this. Maybe if there was more YouTubers highlighting the fact, and instead of doing this digital media clickbait, call it a fashion. It's like a fashion, isn't it? It's what makes the money. I just wish that there'd be more YouTubers out there, with more people on all the digital media platforms and in the press. And it'd be nice for some of the ex-players to come out and express their emotions and their anger in an eloquent way, to tell you more eloquent than I can, because there's far more eloquent people on YouTube that can explain how they've killed the football club. They know more about finances, they know more big words, they know more about everything. They're not stupid. But yet, it's silence, isn't it? People would rather slaughter the manager, slaughter the players, have a little pop about the owners, and then the merry-go-round continues again, year after year after year. And you just get fatigued. In the end, you get fatigued. You know, the best strong-willed people will get fatigued just listening to it. The negativity, the last couple of weeks on YouTube, TikTok, the press, the media, the radio, mate, I'm surprised if there's any happy supporters willing to support their club. Everyone's just on this negative vibe, instead of being on this fight for survival vibe, what the players should be on. We're not seeing it on the field. Maybe it's just feeding each other, you know, just going round in circles. Maybe it's time to just bite the bullet for the first time in everyone's life, to forget about the protest, forget about Enoch, forget about the custodians, and keep our club up. And then you've got the other percentage of me that says maybe it's better just to get relegated. Maybe they go, and then support the club with all our heart again. And it hard. Anyway, it's heartbreaking either way. Good health. Take care. Have a good one. I'm back to tidying my kids' room. Love yous all.